Hey everybody, Robert with RC Archery. In today's Tuesday tip of the week, I'm going to be going over my Conquest archery stabilizer review. All right, so the first thing I want to go over today is what makes a stabilizer good or bad, and then we'll get into the Conquest bars individually and talk about why I like them, why I prefer them, and give you a rundown of some things. Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you some discount codes for huge discounts off of these bars themselves through my website. I have all the bars, I have the weights, I have the threaded end pieces to help you with the weights, and then I have access to all their other products as well in case you need something else. But first of all, what makes a stabilizer good? Why would you want one on the bow? What are you looking for with them? What do you need with them? And the main reason that we use a stabilizer on our bow is to do exactly what it says, but in a lot different way than what most people think. It's to stabilize our sight picture. It's not so much to dampen or stabilize like noise or something like that on most applications, especially if you're looking at target. But with today's modern bows, even hunting bows, whatever you're looking at doing, a stabilizer isn't going to be so much just to stabilize the noise that it's coming out of, because a lot of bows are pretty quiet today anyways. What we're going to be looking at is actually stabilizing the movement itself. The way that we do that with the stabilizer is the way they're designed and utilizing them to their best ability. Adding weight to the end of the bar is what's going to help you most. So what you're looking for here is a stabilizer that is light as possible. It has the least amount of weight where it's going to be mounted to the riser, and then we can add the most amount of weight to the end of the bar farthest away from the riser. And the reason we want to do that is because with these stabilizers, we're not actually adding mass weight to the bow so much as we're adding the amount of weight needed to lessen the left and right movements that we see and the up and down movements that we see. That's the two goals and the two subjects that we're looking for in here. Another thing that makes a stabilizer really good is the amount of flex in the stabilizer, so the minimal amount of flex in the stabilizer. There's a couple different ways that we look at that with this. One is what they're made out of. If you're adding a lot of weight to a bar, you absolutely have to have a very stiff stabilizer bar. If you're not going to be having a lot of weight, it's not as important, but I will say that you still notice a lot more initial movement when the stabilizer bar isn't stiff. And what we're looking for with that is just a high quality, a good stabilizer itself, good brand. So some of your top brands out there, Conquest is going to be absolutely one of them, probably the best one at the moment, but there are others as well. Now, one other thing is the way that the bars are designed to dampen at the shot. So the way they're designed to dampen the vibration and the movement of the shot. And again, like I talked about before, it's not their main purpose, but marketing wise and what you're looking at, they're still going to have to dampen some of it. Some bars will have dampeners out at the end of it. They're rubber pieces. The weights on those can tend to move around some, especially if you have a high amount of weight on it. So I'd be careful with that, especially on back bars where you're adding more weight normally. Some of them have dampeners at the part of the bar that's going to attach to the bow. And again, be careful about that because you don't want to add a lot of weight at the riser because that defeats the purpose of what we're actually trying to do with the stabilizer. I'm going to go over into some other details about how the Conquest bars actually dampen the weight, why I prefer that, and give you a better insight into that later on. All right, so now that we've gone over the good parts of what you look for in a stabilizer, let's talk about just briefly what will make a bad stabilizer. One is an amount of weight just all throughout the bar, meaning the properties that you're using are maybe really big around, maybe really heavy. What they're using for it is heavy, especially like some homemade stabilizers, some lower price range stabilizers. Sometimes they're made out of aluminum all the way down. Sometimes they're very thick and bulky, especially at the part that will attach to the bow. So we want to be careful about that. We want to stay away from that because again, we want the lightest overall stabilizer that we can have before we add weights to it. And the other one is looking at the dampening system. I'm not a big believer in having rubber dampeners anywhere on the stabilizers, front or back. I don't think, depending on the level of the way you're shooting and also the weight that you put on the bow, you won't always see a huge difference between a stabilizer that's very, spongy at the end with a dampener versus one that doesn't have one. But I will say that if you're getting to the point to where you're counting each score, counting each X, trying to get to that perfect range, and your skill level is intermediate and above, you're going to see a difference, especially when you get to full draw with the amount of movement that you see before everything settles down in that time frame. So some of them, if they're really loose up front, or if they have, like those rubber dampeners, or they're spongy stabilizers because they're not very stiff throughout the bar, then when you get to full draw and you hit anchor and everything is kind of settling and bouncing around, then the amount of time it takes for everything to settle is a lot longer. That extends our shot time. It also kind of plays with us mentally too, because we're really looking at the amount of movement that's on target, and it can kind of mess with you a little bit because you want it to be, more still before you start your shot execution, your shot process. So I would look for that. That's something that I don't prefer with any stabilizer that I have, and something that makes one good or bad in my own opinion. All right guys, so let's now get into the Conquest bars themselves, because again, this is a review video over Conquest stabilizers. The first thing that I want to talk about with these bars, and the reason why I am drawn to them and really like them, is this right here, the material they're made out of, the smack wrap material. Now, if you're not familiar with this, the smack wrap material itself is actually designed as carbon fiber infused with a vibration dampening material. So it does two things for us. One, these bars are incredibly stiff and sturdy, so you don't get the excess waggle and movement whenever you're getting to full draw, or if you have some movement while you're, through your shot execution, or there's wind or something like that. You're not gonna have to re-wait for the bars to kind of settle everything down or worry about it affecting your shot execution. Now, the other portion is when the shot actually happens, this material is designed to soak up the vibration. And it does it in a way that's a lot different than anything that I've ever used personally in the past. Now, in the past, the stabilizers that I've used have had the dampeners at the end of the bar next to the weights. And there was two things that I noticed with that. One, when I added the weights to it, they actually would start hanging down. Now, I don't have to tell you that that's gonna be really bad for movement whenever you get to full draw, or if there's any, kind of wind or any kind of bobbles or something in your sight picture. But the other thing to that was when the shot happened, you could almost feel like the bars were running into the weights and the weights were running into the bars, and it just kind of fought off of each other. It worked to dampen vibration, but that was kind of the feeling that you got. Everything just kind of whacked together, and then it would settle. With these, because the entire bar itself is made as a vibration dampening tool, when the shot actually happens, you feel an initial thud, but then the vibration and everything just dissipates and goes away. So you get a little bit different sound, you get a little bit different feel. Again, it's more like a thud versus a clash when everything is hitting together, but it does dampen the vibration, everything you see a lot quicker. Whether that matters a whole lot to you, especially from a target bow setup, maybe, maybe not, but just on the feel of it, I like it better. What I see whenever you're getting your shot execution and your follow through in the direction of the bow, for me with these is better as well. It's a little bit more clean. I've noticed, especially with the back rod, if I start angling it away from the bow versus just having it straight back, or if it's more down versus just level, the movement, the vibration dampening of it, because the whole thing is built to take away the vibration, take away the feel that you have there, it's more linear and everything goes more towards the target versus wanting to start towards the target because everything is clashing together on the front bar, but then the rear bar, especially if it's kicked out, everything was moving laterally. So I would get the bow to kind of move, and then it would want to kick or move or jerk. And I don't know, I mean, you don't notice it that much, but you do sometimes as well. And I think it becomes more of a mental thing, but just being able to see, did I torque the bow? Did I come off, my release hand come off my face or do something like that and cause the bow to torque and twist? Versus did the stabilizer make it torque and twist? To me is, valuable in my opinion for my shot. And these allow that to happen. I know more that I messed up versus maybe the rear bar just wanted to pull me sideways because of the way the vibration dampening was happening. These bars are also extremely light. I can add I can take the weights off of my front bar and my back bar, which this is a 30-inch front rod and a 15-inch rear bar. I can take the weights off of these and I can add the weight up together, and it's lighter than the front rod that I used previously. These two are lighter than one bar that I used previously. And that's huge to me because I'm not adding weight to the bow that's not needed. So where I'm adding the weight is at the end of the bars, and that's actually dampening the movement that I see, and it's helping me control my shot better. So for me, that's an added plus. They're also very well made. They have the aluminum here that's very lightweight aluminum, but it still feels good in your hand to touch. It's easy to get it to put on and off the bow. The weights are amazing. This weight here is actually 8 ounces of weight. It looks like 4 because you're used to seeing the way that they stack up, but this is actually 8 ounces in an extremely compact placement, which for me is great because the weight is centralized this way, and I'm not getting, you know, I'm not having to add weight and extend the length of the bar that in turn extends the length of the length rather of the weight against the length of the bow where it's sticking out. Being more centralized like this actually helps me control my float better because the weight is in one spot. This back bar here, again, this is 8 and this is 4, so this is 12 ounces here. There's another one that's 13 that's actually even more of a flush fit, crazy enough. But again, it's 12 ounces of weight, which is nothing in length compared to what I had before that would stick out literally probably that far. And then it angled down because the weight of it pulled itself down. So for me, I really find a lot better use out of just having the bars be lighter and having the weight all the way at the end. It just works better for me. Now, at the beginning of this video, I told you that I do have some discount codes for you, and I wanted to share that with you as well. So the bar that you see me using right here is the 625 bar. This one is a 30-inch. On my website, I will have a discount code for you. If you use Conquest 625, you will get a $50 discount off of this bar. It allows you to be able to buy these, get a lot cheaper value than what you're gonna see anywhere else on the internet. And then there's a 500 Pro model that's skinnier than this that I'm gonna have for sale on my website in a 30-inch bar that you can get a $75 discount off of that one. That's gonna be Conquest 500. Those codes will be also written in the description below in this video. If you go onto the website, the first 10 people that put in the code for the 625 bar and the first 10 people that put in the code for the 500 bar, they will get the discount. Anybody after that, email me if the code's already not working because you've missed the first 10, let me know, and then I will generate you a code for a little bit lesser of an overall value, but you'll still get a discount on what you're being able to buy these for, and it'll still allow you to get a cheaper bar than what you'll find anywhere else, because I want you to try these because I believe in them myself. They've been that next level and that next step in what I was looking for with my bow and my setup, my shot execution, the way it feels, and I've got a lot of good out of them. I sell front and rear bars in all the sizes that they have that range from 24 all the way up to 33 in the front bars and 10 to 15 in the rear bars. I have the different models that they make, the 625, the 500, and then the 750, I believe is what it is, 775, I can't remember for sure how it's written down. Apologize for that. But they're on my website. I have the weights that are on there. I have these stack weights. I even have their micro adjust weights that are going down all the way to 1/30th of an ounce that you can put on here. There's a threaded rod that runs in here that you put these on. Those are for sale on my website. If you're looking for anything else Conquest makes, I am a dealer for all of their products. I'd be glad to get those for you. Email me, let me know. So their mounts that they have, like the Moab mount, some of their other products that they have as well. I'll be glad to get those for you and get you prices on them and be able to help you out. But again, I appreciate you watching this video today. My Patreon channel has videos that have been coming out on them again. Last week, I actually uploaded a video that's only about 3D. I'm actually at a 3D range. You're getting to hear me mic'd up as I walk through the range, shoot the targets, tell you what I'm looking for, what's happening with my shot, what I'm changing. I will continue to have some videos coming out on that. Next week, on my Tuesday tip of the weeks, I'm gonna be starting a how to pick your bow series. So whether you're gonna be picking your first bow, a target bow, because a lot of us target shooters can't actually feel the bow and shoot the bow before we buy them, whether it's a hunting bow or whatever you're looking for, I'm gonna give you multi-video series over the next several weeks that help you pick out different segments, what you're looking for in the bow, how to get one personally for you, and then let that kind of segment into some different things along the way that'll be pretty helpful for you setting them up and shooting them too. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you staying with me on the content and being patient with me. We try to get these out as often as possible, and I will see you soon.